Satire is often believed to be an abusive attack on somebody or something that the author happens to dislike. Literary satire, however, is much more than this. Today, in this video, we are going to explore Pope Alexander Pope as a satirist. Hello and assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel, and I am Mehroon. Literary satire, however, is much more than this. From Aristotle's definition of comedy in Poetics, we can say that the satire exposes in verse and prose from rather than dramatic form, and in a much more bitter and hitting manner. The viciousness, folly, frivolity, and ugliness found in human behavior, social customs, and human institutions. The aim of satire as satirists often describe it, is to reform the society by exposing vices and follies. Whether or not a satirist is inspired by a desire to reform his society, he always claims that his aim is didactic and reformist. The same thing was done by Geoffrey Chaucer in his age, that he also showed a mirror to the social values in society of his time. He also exposed the follies and foibles of his time in Canterbury Tales. Alexander Pope also did the same thing. Two of Pope's well-known satires, The Rape of Lock and The Dunciad, employ the mock heroic or mock epic form, though the objects of his satires are the fashionable 18th century society, as in The Rape of the Lock, and the literary dunces, as in The Dunciad. Except his early pastoral poems, all that Pope wrote, even the literary critical essay on criticism or the philosophical moral essays, is satirical in content and form. The mock heroic form enables Pope, the satirists, to expose contemporary follies. A pygmy in himself is not a despicable person. He becomes both ridiculous and despicable when he poses as a hero. Just imagine it. The effect is highly complex and amusing when the epic and the trivial are presented as equals. The greatest example is The Rape of the Lock. Now we all know that rape is a very heinous act. But stealing of a lock of hair is considered as a rape. The juxtaposition of trivial and high is very important in Pope's works. The example is here. Just look at the lines from The Rape of the Lock. It will make you understand in a better way. Whether the nymph shall break Diana's law, or some frail china jar receive a flaw, or stain her honor or her new brocade, forget her prayers or miss a masquerade, or lose a heart or necklace at a ball, or whether heaven has doomed that shock must fall. The antithesis between breaking of chastity and china jar, between staining one's honor and one's rich expensive cloth, between losing a heart or a necklace, or between missing a prayer and a masquerade, is beautifully brought out here. By the way, in the last lines, Shock is the name of a dog which belonged to Belinda. Just look at the line and you will enjoy that how beautifully Pope has juxtaposed the fall of Shock, the dog, and the doomsday. By means of this incongruous juxtaposition, Pope manages to expose the confused values of contemporary beau monde. Beau monde means high or fashionable society, while reminding the reader that the items in the list, joined by means of zeugma, have little in common. This is really ridiculous, and this very fact makes the audience amuse. The great quality of Pope as a satirist is the sureness and effectiveness with which he attacks his target. Though the whole body of Pope's poetry, with the exception of early pastoral poems, is predominantly satirical, Pope shows a great deal of ingenuity, inventiveness, and variety in his writings. The Rape of the Lock mildly and delightfully satirizes the follies of the fashionable world, while the Dunciad shows a great bitterness in the portrayal of adversaries. The satire in the moral essays appears under the cover of philosophical discussion of man's place in this universe. Not only that, within each poem there is a lot of variety, complexity, and richness. Pope's manner, tone, and attitude show considerable variation, though the verse form is heroic couplet throughout. Now the question arises, why did Pope chose to be a satirist? The social, political, and religious climate of Pope's time provided ample scope for the writing of satire. Pope's own deformity, Catholic religion, and consequent alienation from the society, and above all, his high moral concern for the reformation of the society, turned his genius to express itself in satire. Imbued with a strong moral purpose and disgusted with the pettiness and hollowness which informed the mores of his contemporary society, Pope took upon himself the role that Horace had played in ancient Rome. His mastery on the language and his reading in literature, and of course his sharp wit, made him the greatest verse satirist of his time. Many explanations have been offered by Pope's biographers and critics that why did he become a satirist. It is argued, for example, that Pope's physical deformities and his alienation from the mainstream of London society, both because of his physical handicaps and Catholic views, made him a bitter critic of the contemporary society. I have described the whole biography of Alexander Pope in my previous video. Please go and watch the video and enjoy. It is also argued that the political and literary climate of Pope's time was ideal for the profession of a satirist. For though England was in general peaceful and prosperous during the first half of the 18th century, there still lurked so many ugly things underneath the smooth, polished surface and called for a satirist's lash. For example, religious persecution of the Catholics, electoral violence, corruption, incompetent and indifferent judges, the worship of wealth, of ease and comfort, and the fashionable follies of gentlemen and ladies from the higher section of the society. Of course, these were also follies and foibles of that particular society. Whatever the truth underlying these explanations, it is obvious that before Pope took to satirical writing, satire had already established itself as a legitimate literary genre. As I have told you earlier that the same thing, the same satires had been done before Pope. For example, Geoffrey Chaucer did the same thing in his age. And if we talk about the Elizabethans, among the Elizabethan, Nash and Marston had written their satirical pamphlets in prose, while Ben Jonson had excessively employed satire in his comedies. In the 17th century, Dryden made satire a respectable genre through his mock heroic poems. Pope's great ambition was to be a philosopher. And so, as soon as he had earned fame and enough money for himself, he planned to go ahead with his philosophical work. But there was scores to be settled, because by this time Pope had created many enemies. So he came out with his mock epic Dunciad in 1728, in which Theobald was crowned as the king of dunces. Pope revised this work towards the end of his career, and then came his moral essays and 4 epistles entitled Essay on Man. These essays and epistles do not propound any new philosophy but reveal Pope both as an eclectic thinker and accomplished artist. In the epilogue to Satires, which bids him farewell to satirical writing, Pope defends his role as a reformer. The last years of Pope's life were spent in revision and publications of his earlier works. It means in the last years of his life, Pope didn't create anything. He just published and revised his previous works. It is the infinite variety, richness, and complexity, and above all, Pope's mastery over the medium, which makes his satires a delightful reading. At the end of the video, I would like to suggest you people to go and read The Rape of the Lock line by line, because its every line is full of amusement and delight. So many of its lines have also become aphorisms, which I would like to share in my next videos too. So keep watching my videos, keep sharing my channel, and I am thankful to you that you have been with me till the end of the video. So thanks for being with Mehreen for such a long time.